Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday the 14th of October comes to you from London. And we start, as always, just looking at currencies. Dollar strength still a continuing pattern here. We are in this short-term move up now. So the key thing here is we've just pulled back a little bit at the end of yesterday, but we're in this high 90s, and really breaking this 100 level will be very, very bullish for the dollar. Bullish on the weekly, bullish on the daily, bullish on the 60 minutes. So that's long, medium, and short term. So this is how my charts are laid out here. If we look at the euro turned down on the week. So we see this big weekly candle, and on the daily as well, below the cloud and below on the 60-minute. Not many big downside targets to play for here on the short-term chart, but medium-term we do have targets to do about 102 to 105. So quite a few targets there, clustering around these levels, suggesting that we are going lower. Look at dollar yen. This chart, of course, is inverted. Dollar buying more yen. That's the way to think about it. And we see here we're just starting to come out on the daily chart. Not yet quite through, but interesting that we're breaking higher, and we broke this level that we saw in early September. Sterling, of course, being the big story. What will happen to the close of the week? A terrible week for sterling last week, and this week even lower still. Just holding this sort of 122 level at the moment, just below the cloud still on the laggy line, so that's bearish. Of course, if you want to know what's going to happen in the short term, take a look at the 1 minute chart. This data, of course, all loading from Bloomberg, and we still have this 117.50 target hanging over us, about 3.7%. So sterling could go lower. Keep an eye on those 1 minute charts. If we look against the euro, we're at this 110 level at the moment. And just turning a little bit above the cloud here, so sterling just recovering slightly there. But if we look at other rates like the Aussie, really hitting new lows, 160 at the moment, so that's quite a big move down over a period there as well. Taking a look at markets, the S&P had a bit of a wobble yesterday. Did touch the just below the 120 level, which is really the support level that we've seen through the last couple of months. And so we really are testing the support level in the short term. We do have short-term downside targets. We are bearish below the cloud here, so we are seeing the market selling off. Although the medium-term and long-term charts are still bullish. Much the same is true of the Nasdaq and the Dow, of course. If we take a look at the future in Europe this morning, the S&P just scheduled to open up very slightly. The Nasdaq just down slightly. Taking a look at FTSE, FTSE was back below the 7,000 level yesterday, but just recovering a little bit this morning, so that's quite key. FTSE 250 is still bearish below the cloud, so really markets are a little bit in the doldrums. The DAX just starting to come through on the long-term chart and recovering slightly here on the 60-minute chart. Nikkei overnight up 0.5%, bullish on all charts here except the long term, so bullish on the medium term and bullish on the short term. So Nikkei actually looking a bit better than Asian markets, actually just generally looking a little bit better than the US at the moment. The Indian market above on the weekly, above on the daily just, but still below on the 60-minute. About 2% downside on this 60-minute chart here. So just key there. We look at the Aussie market, just wandering back below the cloud here, having been quite strong, and a downside target of about 1.6%. So probably at the moment just an end to the week where it's a bit flat. Oil, crude is just nudging this level that we saw back in June, and it is really looking like it's going higher. We do expect crude to fall at this time of year with the seasonality, but it is showing some strength. And much the same true on WTI. Upside targets of about 2%, 4% here on the medium-term chart. And again, if we make to new highs, then we've got significant upside potential. Heating oil, much the same as well, and about to come through the cloud on the long term. US nat gas is the real one to watch at the moment. We're above here on the weekly, just coming through. This is a long-term trend change, bullish on the daily and bullish on the 60-minute. And this again is not normally a very strong time of year for nat gas, but it really is showing a lot of strength here. Short-term upside of about 5%, medium-term of about 36%, and the long-term upside of about 60%. So nat gas looking strong. Looking at some of the softs are all recovering a little bit at the end of the week. Corn is bullish on the 60-minute. Soybeans also just coming through on the 60-minute. Wheat just coming through. So soft's having a good end to the week here. We look at things like cotton again, all just coming above the cloud. Gold just really struggling in the doldrums around this 1250 level. So that's just one to watch. And silver, much the same picture here as well. Copper has actually just shown a little bit of recovery, but we are weak here on all clouds. We're below, so bearish for copper. Look at German Bund. Bund is still in a bearish trend, which implies that the yields are just in a slight bullish trend. This is the actual bond itself. If you look at the 5-year US bond yield, we see that it has had quite a strong showing here, breaking to new highs. Interestingly, upside potential of about 1.7% here. We still do have some downside potential on the yield, but at the moment it's holding steady. A look at some bellwethers. Apple. Stocks were weak yesterday with the markets falling off, but Apple's still now bullish on all chart time frames. Upside potential of about 20%. Shorter term targets of about 5%. Google just holding the bullishness here on the short term chart. Does have a little bit of a downside target. Amazon, stellar performer, still just holding on, but about to turn off through the cloud here. So maybe it's just about to have a sell-off. And Facebook just turned a little bit bearish on the short-term chart, but the long and medium-term targets are all still in place. So keep an eye on the charts today. The 1-minute charts, remember, if you're watching the market short-term. Until next week, happy charting. See you then.